Be me, Melanie, HR director at this company. Been in this role for 3 years now. Finally in a position where I can actually make real change. Not just talk about equity, but enforce it. My hiring metrics are a thing of beauty. 78% of our new hires in the last 18 months have been women, up from 31% before I took over. I've developed what I call a holistic screening approach. Basically, I prioritize candidates who will contribute to our culture transformation, which obviously means women, because let's be real, every room full of men is just a breeding ground for toxicity. I've seen it my whole career, the interrupting, the mansplaining, the casual dismissiveness, not on my watch. The CEO, Richard, sometimes asks about our hiring philosophy. I explain it in terms he can't argue with. We're correcting historical imbalances. We're seeking diverse perspectives. Studies show gender-balanced teams perform better. He nods along because what else can he do? Everyone knows you can't push back on this stuff without sounding like a dinosaur. I've made sure the leadership team understands the optics. We're a progressive company now. Industry articles have mentioned our commitment to workplace equity. I may have personally pitched those stories to 3 different journalists. My screening process is efficient. Step 1, look at the name. Step 2, look at the resume. Step 3, decide. If I see Michael or David or Christopher at the top, I'm already looking for reasons to pass, and there are always reasons. Not quite the cultural fit we're looking for. We've decided to move forward with other candidates. Your background doesn't align with our current needs. Easy, clean, professional. Meanwhile, if I see Jennifer or Rebecca or Nicole, I'm looking for reasons to interview. She has relevant experience? Interview. She's a career changer with transferable skills? Interesting. Let's talk. She's a recent grad with enthusiasm? We could use fresh perspectives. It's not discrimination, it's strategic hiring. It's correcting for decades of discrimination that went the other way. Fighting fire with fire. You can't fix a broken system by playing within its rules. My assistant Kelly sometimes looks at me weird when I make decisions. She's young, still learning. One time she said, "But Melanie, this guy has the exact certifications we asked for." I glanced at his resume. Some candidate named Oliver. Impressive credentials, I'll admit. 5 years experience, glowing references, relevant technical skills. We need someone who can bring a different perspective, I told her. Someone who understands the challenges our user base faces. Our users are diverse, Kelly. We need our team to reflect that. She didn't push back, but I saw her face. She'll understand when she's been in the workplace longer. Been doing this for months. My system is working perfectly. Our department is now 71% women, up from 40% when I started. I've created a better environment. The women on the team have told me they feel more comfortable, more able to speak up. That's the proof right there. That's impact. Then last Tuesday happens. I'm going through applications for our software developer position. We need someone mid-level, someone who can hit the ground running. I've received 47 applications. I've scheduled interviews with 11 candidates, all women, obviously. Their qualifications range from perfect to adequate. Doesn't matter. They all deserve a shot. Meanwhile, the male applicants can go apply somewhere that doesn't value progress. I'm scheduling the interview times when Kelly comes in. She's got this weird expression. "Melanie, can I show you something?" She's holding a folder. Inside are printouts of applications. I see names like Jessica, Amanda, Sarah, Jennifer. All candidates I've scheduled interviews with. Yes, these are our interviewees. What about them? Kelly looks uncomfortable. I was calling to confirm interview times and something weird happened. She tells me she called Jessica to confirm her Thursday slot. Deep male voice answers. She thinks she has the wrong number, apologizes. The voice says, "No, this is about the developer position, right? This is Jessica." Kelly is confused. "Oh, I'm sorry, is Jessica available?" "This is Jessica. Well, actually, it's Jason. I applied as Jessica." I feel something cold in my stomach. "What?" Kelly continues. So I was confused and I asked him what he meant. He told me he'd applied 3 months ago under his real name, Jason, and never heard back. Then he applied again 2 weeks ago. Same resume, same everything, but he put Jessica as his first name. He got an interview request within 4 days. I'm staring at her. This can't be real. He's lying. He's trying to cause problems. Kelly bites her lip. I thought so too, so I called the next candidate, Amanda. My heart is racing now. Amanda answered in a male voice too, said his real name is Andrew. Same story. Applied months ago as Andrew, nothing. Applied as Amanda, immediate interview. I grab the folder from her. I'm looking through the applications. Jessica, Amanda, Sarah, Jennifer, Rebecca, Michelle, Lisa. 7 of my 11 scheduled interviews. All women. Except they're not. I feel like the room is spinning. Call them. Call all of them right now. Kelly hesitates. I called most of them already. Melanie, it's all of them except 4. 7 of the 11 are men using female names. I can't breathe. Those fucking bastards. Those manipulative, deceitful, sneaky fucking bastards. They deliberately tricked me. They lied on official applications. This is fraud. This is identity fraud. This is... I'm pacing my office. Kelly is standing there looking worried. What do you want me to do? Cancel them. Cancel all of them. Should I reschedule or... No. They lied. They committed fraud. My voice is getting louder. I need to calm down, but I can't. These men deliberately deceived me. They created fake identities. They manipulated the system. And then it hits me. The only reason they got interviews is because I thought they were women. Their resumes were obviously good enough. I would have rejected every single one of them if I'd known they were men. They knew that. They fucking knew that. I storm out of my office into the main HR area. There are 6 people at desks. They all look up. We have a serious problem, I announce. We've been infiltrated. Sharon from payroll looks alarmed. What happened? Male applicants have been submitting applications under false female names. They've been lying about their gender to trick us into interviewing them. I see expressions changing. Some people look shocked. Some look confused. Oliver from Benefits, yes, we have a man in HR, he was here before me, has this weird expression, almost like he's trying not to smile. This is serious, I continue. This is application fraud. This is identity deception. We need to report this. We need to take action. Sharon speaks up carefully. Report it to whom? I don't know. The Labour Board? Legal? This can't be legal. Oliver clears his throat. What exactly did they lie about? Did they claim false credentials? I spin to face him. They claim to be women, Oliver. They used female names when they're actually men. Did they check a box that said female, or just use a different name? I realize I don't actually know. The application doesn't ask for gender because that would be discriminatory. We removed that question 2 years ago. They just used different names. That's not the point, I say. The point is, they deliberately misrepresented themselves. Oliver nods slowly. To what end, though? Is he serious right now? To get interviews, Oliver. Obviously to get interviews. So they believed they wouldn't get interviews under their real names? I can feel my face getting hot. That's their perception. Their incorrect perception based on... Based on what? The room is very quiet. Everyone is looking at me. I feel ambushed, in my own department, by my own team. Based on their own biases, I finish. They assumed they wouldn't get hired because they're men. Which is ridiculous because we hire based on merit. I see Kelly glance away. Oliver is definitely smirking now. Right. Of course. Merit. I need to regain control here. Regardless of their reasoning, they lied. We're cancelling these interviews. I'm going to draft a policy about name verification. And I'm going to send a company-wide memo about application fraud. I turn to go back to my office. Behind me, I hear Oliver mutter something. I catch the words ironic and blind review. I pretend not to hear, but I'm seething. Back in my office, I try to calm down. I make a list of action items. 1. Cancel fraudulent interviews. 2. Draft new verification. Policy. 3. Report to CEO. 4. Consult with legal about fraud charges. 5. Review all pending applications for similar deception. I'm on item 3 when Kelly knocks again. What now? Richard wants to see you. The CEO. Great, someone must have already told him. I go to his office. He's sitting at his desk, looking tired. He's in his 50s, grey hair, generally stays out of my way. Melanie, I heard there was an issue with some job applications. I sit down. Yes, we've discovered that multiple male applicants have been submitting applications under false female names. They've been lying to get interviews. Richard nods slowly. How did you discover this? Kelly was calling to confirm interview times and they answered in male voices. And these interviews were for the software developer position. And, looking back at records, probably other positions too. Richard leans back in his chair. What were their qualifications like, these applicants? Weird question. I I haven't reviewed them in detail yet. That's not the point. Their qualifications were sufficient to warrant interviews, I assume? Well, yes. I scheduled them, but I thought they were... I stopped myself. Richard looks at me steadily. You thought they were women? Yes. And if you'd known they were men, this feels like a trap. I would have evaluated them appropriately based on all factors. Would they have gotten interviews? That would depend on the full candidate pool and our diversity needs, and would they have gotten interviews, Melanie? I don't answer. Richard sighs. I'm going to ask you something directly. Have you been filtering out male candidates? I've been prioritizing candidates who contribute to workplace diversity. That's not what I asked. My palms are sweating. The hiring landscape has been unfairly balanced toward men for decades, Richard. Our obligation as a progressive company is to correct those imbalances. Every hire I make is about creating a better, more equitable workplace. How many men have you hired in the last year? I know this number. I'm proud of this number. But suddenly I realize I can't say it. Our hiring has prioritized the most qualified candidates while also considering... How many, Melanie? 4. Out of 37 total hires. Silence. Richard rubs his temples. And you don't see a problem with that ratio. I sit up straighter. The problem is the historical ratio, Richard. We're correcting decades of... You're not correcting anything. You're just discriminating in the opposite direction. I feel like I've been slapped. That's not fair. I'm creating opportunities for people who have been systematically excluded, by systematically excluding others. It's not the same thing. My voice is rising. It's literally exactly the same thing, Melanie. I stand up. I can't sit here and listen to this. I have built a hiring system that prioritizes equity and inclusion. I have created a workplace where women actually feel valued. I have measurably improved our culture. And now you're telling me that's wrong because some men decided to lie on their applications? They committed fraud, Richard. They deceived us. They manipulated the system. They changed their names, Richard says quietly. That's all they did. Same resumes, same qualifications, different names. And suddenly, they were interview-worthy. Doesn't that tell you something? I'm shaking with rage. It tells me they're liars. It tells me they're willing to manipulate and deceive to get what they want. It tells me they feel entitled to opportunities even when they're not the right fit. It tells me exactly the kind of toxic masculine behavior that I'm trying to eliminate from this workplace. Richard looks at me for a long moment. I'm going to need you to interview all qualified candidates, regardless of gender going forward. No. The word is out of my mouth before I can think. Excuse me? I said no. I won't compromise the progress I've made. I won't go back to rubber stamping a boys' club. I won't be complicit in maintaining systems of oppression. If you want to change our hiring practices, you'll have to find someone else to implement it. Because I won't do it. Richard's expression hardens. Melanie, I'm not asking. Then fire me. I cross my arms. Fire me and explain to the industry press why you terminated your HR director for prioritizing diversity. See how that plays out for the company brand. I dare you. We stare at each other. Finally, Richard says, Get out of my office. I need to think about this. I leave. I'm trembling, but I feel powerful. He can't fire me. I've made myself unfireable. The optics are too bad. I go back to my office and send the email cancelling all 7 interviews. Simple, professional. After further review, we've decided to move forward with other candidates. I don't mention that I know they're men. I don't give them the satisfaction. I just cancel them. 20 minutes later, my email pings. It's from one of them. The subject line is Interview Cancellation, Jessica Williams Application. Dear Melanie, I'm disappointed to receive your cancellation email. I was very excited about the opportunity to interview for the software developer position. Could you provide any feedback about my application, or let me know if there are other positions I should consider? I should mention that when I applied 3 months ago under my legal name, Jason Williams, with the exact same resume and qualifications, I received no response. I applied again using a feminine name and received an interview request within 4 days. I'm sure this is just a coincidence, but I thought you should be aware. I've documented both applications and all correspondence. I'm happy to discuss this further if you have time. Best regards, Jason Williams. That fucking asshole. He's threatening me. He's documenting everything. He's going to try to claim discrimination. I forward it to legal with a note. Please advise on potential discrimination claim. Applicant submitted false information on application by using incorrect name. Legal responds within an hour. They want to meet tomorrow. This is escalating. I try to focus on other work, but I can't. I keep thinking about those men, sitting there, deliberately typing in fake names, thinking they're so clever, thinking they've exposed some great injustice, when really they've just proven how entitled they are, how willing to lie and cheat and manipulate. They couldn't compete fairly, so they cheated, and now they want to act like victims. The next morning, I'm in the legal department. Craig, our general counsel, and his associate Diane. They've printed out all the email correspondence. They've pulled all 7 applications. They have the originals too, apparently. The ones submitted months ago under male names. Craig spreads them out on the table. Walk me through your screening process. I explain my holistic approach. He stops me. Specifically, what factors determine who gets an interview? Experience, skills, cultural fit, diversity contribution? How do you evaluate diversity contribution from a resume? I'm ready for this. I look at their background, their experiences, what perspectives they might bring. And gender plays a role in that assessment? Careful here. Gender can be one factor among many in understanding what perspectives someone might offer. Diane speaks up. These resumes are identical. Jason/Jessica here. Same resume, submitted 3 months apart, only difference is the name. She slides 2 pages across to me. I look at them. They're exactly the same. Work history, skills, even the formatting. He updated his approach, I say. The resume is identical, Melanie. Maybe his interview skills improved. He didn't get an interview before. That's the whole point. I'm feeling cornered. Look, I receive hundreds of applications. I can't interview everyone. I have to make choices based on multiple factors. Sometimes timing matters. Sometimes the candidate pool matters. This isn't about gender. It's about finding the right fit at the right time. Craig leans forward. Here's the problem. We have 7 candidates, all male, all qualified. All of them applied previously under male names, no interview. All of them applied again under female names, immediate interview. Same resumes, same qualifications, only variable is perceived gender. That's a pattern, Melanie. That's a legally actionable pattern. My chest feels tight. They lied on their applications. We can't hire people who lie. They didn't lie, Diane says. They used different names. That's not illegal. People use nicknames, middle names, chosen names all the time. They deliberately tried to deceive. They tried to get fair consideration, Craig interrupts, and they apparently couldn't get it under male names. I stand up. This is insane. I'm being persecuted for trying to create an equitable workplace. You're describing a systematic pattern of gender-based discrimination. Against men, against the most privileged group in the workplace. Discrimination is discrimination, Melanie. The law doesn't have a privilege exception. I'm pacing now. So what? I'm supposed to just ignore decades of imbalance? I'm supposed to pretend we live in a meritocracy? I'm supposed to hire the same types of people who've always been hired? You're supposed to evaluate candidates based on their qualifications, not their gender, Craig says. That's literally the law. I can feel tears of frustration forming. I won't cry in front of them. I won't give them that. What do you want me to do? We want you to interview these 7 candidates. Absolutely not. Melanie, they tried to trap me. This was clearly a coordinated effort to undermine my work. They're probably planning a lawsuit. I won't reward that behavior. Diane and Craig exchange a look. If you don't interview them, they definitely will sue, Diane says. And they'll win. We have 7 identical cases demonstrating clear gender bias in hiring. Any lawyer would take this case. Any judge would see the pattern. Let them sue, I say. I'll testify about every single hire I've made and why. I'll explain the context and the reasoning. I'll show how I've improved workplace culture. Any reasonable person will understand what I'm trying to do. Craig looks exhausted. Melanie, I need you to hear this clearly. You have been discriminating against male applicants. You have been giving preferential treatment based on gender. That is illegal. It doesn't matter what your intentions were. It doesn't matter what you were trying to fix. It's still illegal. And if this goes to court, the company will lose. Worse, the company will settle for a significant amount. And there will be press coverage. And that coverage will not frame this as progressive hiring. It will frame it as discrimination. Because that's what it is. I slump back in my chair. Everything I've built, everything I've worked for, being called discrimination, being equated with the actual discrimination that women face every day. It's not the same. It's not the fucking same. I need time to think, I say quietly. You have until end of day, Craig says. Either you schedule these interviews or we're moving in another direction. What does that mean? He doesn't answer, but I know. It means they'll take hiring away from me. Or worse. I go back to my office. Kelly is there with a stack of messages. Not now, I tell her. I close my door. I sit at my desk. I look at my wall of achievements. Awards for workplace diversity, certificates from inclusion training, photos from women in leadership events, articles about our improved gender ratios, all of it about to be destroyed by a bunch of men who couldn't handle not being the center of attention, who couldn't handle competing on equal footing, who had to lie and scheme to prove some point. My computer pings, email from Richard. My office, 4 p.m. At 3:45, I walk over. Craig and Diane are already there. Richard gestures for me to sit. I've been briefed on the situation, he says. I'm implementing some changes. Effective immediately, all hiring decisions will be reviewed by a panel. You'll still conduct initial screenings, but interview selections will require sign-off from department heads. Additionally, we'll be implementing blind resume review for initial screening. Names, gender indicators, and personal information will be redacted. You'll evaluate based purely on qualifications. I'm staring at him. You're dismantling everything I've built. I'm protecting the company from a discrimination lawsuit. This is discrimination against me, against the progress I've made. Melanie, you've been rejecting qualified candidates based on gender. That's not progress, that's just bias in a different direction. I stand up. I can't breathe in here. I won't do it. I won't participate in a system that perpetuates. Then resign, Richard says flatly. Silence. He's serious. He's actually serious. You'd lose me over this? After everything I've accomplished? You haven't accomplished anything, Melanie. You've just shifted who gets discriminated against. Now you can either adapt to a fair legal hiring process, or you can leave. Your choice. I look at Craig and Diane. They're not even looking at me. I look back at Richard. His expression is stone. Something breaks inside me. All the frustration, all the rage, all the injustice. It comes pouring out. Fine, I'm shouting now. Fine. You want fair? You want to pretend we live in a world where everyone has equal opportunities? You want to ignore every fucking statistic about workplace discrimination? Every study about bias in hiring? Every woman who's been passed over because her name wasn't masculine enough? Fine! I'm crying now. I can't help it. Tears of rage streaming down my face. I have tried so hard to make this place better. I have fought every single day to give women a chance, to create opportunities that didn't exist before. And you're telling me that's wrong? You're telling me that some men lying on their applications is the real discrimination? My voice is getting louder with each word. I can hear it, but I can't stop. Those men could get jobs anywhere. They have every advantage. And they're so fragile they can't handle one place that prioritizes women? One fucking place where women get first consideration? So they have to lie and scheme and trap me? I sweep my arm across Richard's desk. Papers scatter everywhere. I don't even remember deciding to do it. It just happens. I have given everything to this company. I have made real change. I have created a space where women can thrive. And you're throwing it away because some men's feelings got hurt. Richard stands up. Melanie, you need to leave my office right now. Fuck your office! I'm screaming now, completely screaming. I can hear how crazy I sound, but I don't care anymore. Do you know how many resumes I've seen from overconfident men? How many mediocre male candidates who think they deserve everything? And I'm the bad guy for saying no? For finally having the power to say no. The door opens. Building security is there. 2 guys in uniforms. Richard must have called them. This is what you do. I'm backing toward the door. You call security on me? After 3 years of dedicated service. After everything I've built? One of the security guys reaches for my arm. I jerk away. Don't touch me! I walk out into the hallway. People are staring. Everyone on this floor is at their doors or standing in this hallway, watching me fall apart. You all think this is entertaining? I'm addressing all of them now. You think this is justice? A woman gets punished for trying to level the playing field. Oliver is there. Smug fucking Oliver. I point at him. You never supported any of this. You've been undermining me from day one. You couldn't handle a woman in charge. You couldn't handle not being the center of attention. He doesn't say anything, just looks at me with this pitying expression, which makes it so much worse. I turn to the growing crowd. This is what happens when you try to make real change. When you actually challenge the status quo. They tear you down. They call you discriminatory. They punish you for the exact same things men have been doing for decades. Security is getting closer. I walk toward the elevators. They follow at a distance. I quit! I scream it over my shoulder. You hear me, Richard? I quit. I won't work for a company that values men's hurt feelings over actual equity. I won't be complicit in your discrimination. I'm in the elevator now. Doors closing. I can see everyone staring. Dozens of faces. Shock, pity, embarrassment, satisfaction. Especially satisfaction on some of the men's faces. The doors close. I'm alone. I'm sobbing. My whole body is shaking. I get to the lobby. I walk out to my car. I sit in the driver's seat for 20 minutes, just crying, just trying to process what happened. My phone is buzzing. Texts from Kelly. Are you okay? Melanie, please respond. Everyone's talking about what happened. Security escorted out your things. They're at the front desk. I don't respond. I drive home. I pour a massive glass of wine. I get on my laptop. I start drafting a post about what happened, about how I was fired. I quit, but fired sounds better, for trying to create equity, about the coordinated attack by male applicants, about the company's capitulation to discrimination, about how this proves exactly what I've been saying, that men can't handle not being centered, that they'll destroy anyone who tries to change the power structure. I'm halfway through when I stop. I read what I've written. It sounds insane. It sounds like the rant of someone who lost control. I delete it. I pour more wine. I think about those 7 men, sitting at their computers, changing their names on their resumes, from Jason to Jessica, from Andrew to Amanda, knowing exactly what would happen, knowing they'd get interviews, because I'd been so fucking obvious about it. They proved their point. They proved I was discriminating, and I couldn't even see it. I was so sure I was doing the right thing, so sure I was fixing things, that I never stopped to think. That maybe, just maybe, I'd become exactly what I hated. No, fuck that. They're still wrong. What I did was justified. It was correction. It was necessary. But even as I think it, I know how it sounds. I know what everyone will say. I know what the story will be. Feminist HR director has meltdown after male applicants outsmart her discrimination. And I gave them that story. I gave them everything. The screaming, the crying, the public breakdown, the scatter papers, the security escort. I handed them the perfect narrative. And I can't take it back. I drink more wine. I don't know what comes next. I just know that everything I built, everything I fought for, is gone. And 7 men with fake names on their resumes are probably celebrating tonight, probably laughing about the crazy feminist HR lady who lost her shit when they beat her at her own game. They won. I lost. And I'll never admit it to anyone. But deep down, in a place I'll never acknowledge out loud, I know they were right. And that's the worst part of all.